Writing. The first time Kayla saw the human, she screamed. He stood over the smoldering wreckage of what had once been a Vorthan gunship. His armor cracked and blackened. His face obscured behind a reflective visor that pulsed faintly with red light. The smoke curled around him like a shroud, and the smell, burned metal, ozone and charred flesh, hung thick in the air. To Kayla, barely 20 standard cycles old and the last survivor of her squad, he looked like something torn from the depths of an ancient nightmare. A living weapon. Monster. When he turned toward her, the glowing red of his visor flared, locking onto her trembling form. "Don't move," he said, voice metallic and distorted. She froze, clutching the side of her torn armor where her blood, blue and luminous, dripped onto the ashen ground. His voice wasn't angry. It was calm, methodical, cold. The kind of tone a soldier used right before ending someone's life. "Please," she whispered, her translator chip lagging half a second behind. "Don't kill me." The human tilted his head, scanning her with an unseen sensor. "You're not armed," he muttered. "Good." Then he turned away. That confused her more than anything else. The monster had spared her. The beginning, the war that never ended. Kayla's people, the Vorthans, had been part of the coalition, one of the 1,000 species that had united to fight the Terrans. The humans. They had come from a forgotten corner of the Orion Arm, weak and fractured, or so everyone had believed. Then the war began, and the galaxy learned a terrible truth. Humans didn't break. They adapted. When the coalition burned Earth, humanity didn't surrender. They became something else, something forged in hatred and loss. They began building soldiers in labs, merging machine with flesh, rewriting instinct, stripping fear. The project's name was Sentinel. The man Kayla had met was one of them. She learned that 2 days later, when her distress beacon attracted another human ship. The middle, the monster named Vale. His name was Captain Nathan Vale, though to most humans he was just Sentinel-9. He and a small human strike team were deep behind enemy lines when they found her signal. They were tracking a Vorthan convoy carrying chemical warheads meant to sterilize an entire human colony. Vale didn't speak much. He gave orders in short, clipped tones. He didn't sleep when the others did. He simply sat motionless, helmet on, staring into the dark. Kayla wondered if he was even capable of sleeping. When she tried to thank him for saving her life, he said only, "Don't thank me. You're an asset now." It wasn't cruelty, she realized later. It was habit. To him, kindness was a distraction, mercy an inefficiency. But still he never hurt her. He made sure she ate. He patched her wounds. And when she screamed in her sleep from the memories of her fallen squad, he didn't mock or ignore her. He just said quietly, "You'll live. That's all that matters." Days turned into weeks as they moved through the wreckage of the warfront. Kayla watched Vale dismantle alien drones with his bare hands, hack enemy satellites, and patch up his team after brutal firefights. He fought with terrifying precision, as if every bullet was guided by fate. Yet, in the rare moments between missions when his visor was lifted, Kayla saw the man beneath. He wasn't a monster. He was tired. Oh, tired. His face bore scars that glowed faintly, remnants of cybernetic grafts. His eyes were human, but there was a mechanical edge to the way his pupils shifted, adjusting to light in unnatural ways. She caught him staring at a hologram once, a woman and a small child, both smiling. He shut it off the moment he saw her looking. "Family?" she asked softly. "They were," he said, voice hollow. Kayla didn't ask what happened. She didn't need to. The mission, choice in the ashes. Their final mission together began on the ruins of Eidolon Prime, a dead world choked in the remains of orbital bombardment. The Coalition had a fortress buried beneath the planet's surface, a command nexus for the war's final offensive. Vale's orders were simple: infiltrate, retrieve the AI core, and destroy everything else. Kayla wasn't supposed to come, but she followed anyway. When the alarm sounded and the fortress defenses activated, Vale turned on her. "You shouldn't be here. You'll need me," she said, voice shaking but firm. "You don't understand the systems." "I do." He hesitated, then nodded once. "Stay close." They descended together through corridors lit by dying power cells and walls slick with condensation. The sound of distant explosions echoed like thunder. When they reached the command chamber, the AI core was already awake, its holographic form flickering to life in a storm of blue light. "Human," it said coldly, its voice filling the room. "You cannot stop inevitability." Vale ignored it. He placed charges along the main data spire, each motion calculated and efficient. Kayla watched, realizing that if he succeeded, everyone on the surface, including her people, would die when the detonation cascaded through the planet's systems. "You'll kill thousands," she said, stepping between him and the last charge. "Millions," he corrected. "And it will end the war." "End it," she snapped. "By burning what's left of the galaxy." Vale paused, eyes narrowing behind his visor. For the first time, Kayla saw uncertainty flicker across his face. Then the alarm shifted, new, sharper. Coalition reinforcements were closing in. Vale cursed under his breath. "Get behind me." The next few minutes were chaos. The chamber erupted with plasma fire. Kayla screamed as soldiers poured in through the entryways, their weapons tearing holes in the floor and walls. Vale moved like a phantom, bullets ricocheting off his armor, his rifle spitting death in measured bursts. He was every nightmare she'd ever heard about the humans, and yet, when one of the Vorthan soldiers aimed at her, Vale stepped into the line of fire. The blast hit him square in the chest. He didn't fall. He grabbed the attacker, slammed him against the wall, and kept firing. When it was over, Kayla crawled to his side. His armor hissed, vents spewing smoke. "You're hurt," she said. He shook his head. "Armor's fried. I'll live." Then, as the fortress shuddered around them, she saw the detonator still blinking on his wrist. "You're still going to do it, aren't you?" she whispered. "Even if it kills you." He looked at her. "It's what I was made for." "No," she said fiercely. "It's what they made you believe." The turning point, the guardian within. Something shifted in his expression then. Something deep and buried. Maybe it was the tone of her voice. Maybe it was the way she didn't flinch when he looked at her. Whatever it was, the machine that ruled his mind faltered. "Tell me, Kayla," he said quietly. "If I let them live, if I stop this, what then? Your people will rebuild, and mine will still burn." She reached for his hand. "Maybe not. Maybe we start again. Together." Outside, the ground trembled as orbital bombardment began anew. The Coalition and human fleets were tearing the sky apart above them. The fortress groaned under the strain. Vale looked down at her hand, small and trembling against his armored glove. Then he tore the detonator from his wrist and hurled it aside. "Fine," he said. "Let's try your way." The escape, fire and ash. The fortress was collapsing when they reached the surface. The AI had triggered a failsafe, and magma vents tore through the planet's crust. Vale carried Kayla across a field of debris, his servos screaming under the strain. She clung to his neck, feeling the vibrations of his mechanical heart. "Why are you doing this?" she cried over the roar. Because, he grunted, I'm tired of being the monster. They reached the evacuation shuttle just as the last shockwave hit. The ship launched, barely clearing the collapsing surface. From orbit, Eidolon Prime cracked apart like an egg, spilling fire into space. Kayla stared out the viewport, tears streaking her pale face. Beside her, Vale slumped into the co-pilot's seat, chest plate sparking. He was dying. The blast had done more damage than he'd admitted. She reached for him. Stay with me. He smiled faintly. You'll be fine now. You can't die, she said desperately. Not after everything. Vale's eyes softened. Kayla. Maybe humanity doesn't need monsters anymore. Maybe it needs people like you. Then his eyes dimmed and his body went still. The ending, the Guardian's legacy. The shuttle drifted for hours before the human rescue fleet found it. When they boarded, they found Kayla asleep beside his body, her head resting on his shoulder. They wanted to take her prisoner, of course. But the commander, an older woman with the same weary look Vale once had, looked at Kayla and hesitated. What happened here? She asked. Kayla looked up, eyes red. He saved me. He saved all of us. The woman studied her, then nodded. Then he did his duty. Kayla shook her head. No. He did something more. Years later, after the war ended and the fragile peace began, a monument stood on the rebuilt world of Earth. It bore no rank or title, just a name and a single inscription. Nathan Vale. He guardian of both worlds. Every year, Kayla returned to lay a single blue flower at its base. She would tell the story to anyone who would listen, of the man the galaxy had called a monster, who had given up everything to protect both friend and foe alike. And somewhere, she liked to believe, his spirit still watched from the stars. No longer a weapon, no longer a sentinel, just a guardian. Epilogue: The Dream. That night, Kayla dreamed she was back on the battlefield, the air thick with ash. She turned and there he was, standing in the smoke, visor gone, eyes human again. Still dreaming about monsters? He asked, smiling faintly. She laughed, tears falling. Only about the one who saved me. He stepped closer, the world fading around them. Then maybe I wasn't a monster after all. And when she reached for him, her hand passed through light. She woke up beneath a dawn sky, the sunlight warm on her face. Somewhere far away, a star flared briefly, then settled into peace. Humanity's guardian was gone, but his legacy remained.